crisis doesn't seem to end in Kathmandu. I'm being joined by former Prime Minister of Nepal, Baburam Bhattarai. Mr. Bhattarai, many thanks for joining us here on India Today. The crisis doesn't seem to end. We're looking at a faction where the Supreme Court has passed a ruling, given a ruling, calling the order of the current, the incumbent, unconstitutional. What do you have to say about the decisions that are happening in the National Communist Party?
Yes, I am also very worried because we fought all our life for democracy, especially abolition of monarchy and introduction of a republican system, federal restructuring of the state, and making the constitution through the Constituent Assembly. The first government formed after the promulgation of the constitution was headed by a communist party with nearly a two-third majority. In the last 3 years, they couldn't deliver anything. So to divert the attention when their inner fighting increased within the party, the Prime Minister unconstitutionally dissolved Parliament. According to our constitution, a Prime Minister has no prerogative to dissolve Parliament. So Supreme Court did the right thing to restore the Parliament, but still the crisis is there.
But in terms of the factions itself, if you could, because you have been, you were a close friend, confidant of Prachand. You've been a very important leader in the whole, not just the entire revolution, but also in the leadership of the party. Now we are looking at the two factions fighting, where Prime Minister Oli has almost warned and threatened Prachand and Madhav Nepal camp that you try removing me and we'll see. How do you see this crisis then end?
So I wouldn't like to comment on their inner struggle within the party. So I have my reservations against the political ideology, political program, the organization system, and the working style of the traditional communist parties. In Nepal, though I myself worked in the Communist Party, Maoist Party for 30 years and played my role to bring this change, but my attempt was to develop the Communist Party according to the needs of the time. But these people are so stuck in the 19th century dogma that they couldn't deliver anything in Nepal. So that is the prime reason of their failure. This current development is an outcome of that. In my understanding, both sides are equally to be blamed, but since KP Oli was heading the government, he should take major share of the blame. But in my understanding, we should try to go beyond the traditional thinking of the Communist Party, both ideologically, politically, and practically in a very sensitive geopolitical situation like Nepal.
You just spoke about geopolitics. I will come to that. I'll come to a few decisions that were taken by this administration which has not gone down well with her neighbor, which is India. But in terms of the way forward, as a politician yourself, where do you see Nepal headed? Because do you see a really strong opposition that can really take on this administration? If not, what's the way forward?
My understanding is because of structural reasons ingrained in Nepalese society, unless we resolve them, you can't have a stable government in Nepal and no party or leader can deliver anything. These are, firstly, Nepal went through a violent revolution under the CPN Maoist, which I myself was a part of it. But the peace process, the peace agreement signed has not been completed as yet. Because of that, there is a simmering discontent among large masses, the people. Secondly, the constitution we formed was flawed and it has not been accepted by a majority or a large section of the people from Madhesh, Janjatis and women and Dalits and others. And on the economic front, good governance or corruption front, lot of problems are there. And finally, our relation with India, being the largest economic partner of Nepal, and geographical, historical, cultural, affinity with India, we are not even able to manage relation properly with India. Because of these reasons, this crisis is there. So until unless it is resolved in a holistic sense, I don't think we can find any solution in the near future.
You make an important point. I was going to come to geopolitics about India. Nationalism aside, being nationalistic aside, do you think Prime Minister Oli and earlier even Prachanda for that matter really have damaged India-Nepal ties to an extent that that we cannot go back to the older times? Is that the kind of extent of damage that they've done in the name of nationalism?
I think both sides are to be partly blamed, because historically some problems are left behind since the British days, especially the boundary issue in western and some southern part of Nepal. That should have been resolved through dialogue. Both sides didn't care much. Apart from that, the political issue of raking up the national issue for partisan gains is a common disease in South Asia. Every country, whether in India or in Pakistan or Bangladesh or Sri Lanka or Nepal, political parties and leaders rake up the issue for their narrow gains. So that's exactly happened in Nepal also. In my understanding, both India and Nepal should rise above it. We can have best of relations between our two countries because we are part of the same civilization and same geography and same social and cultural values. So I think both sides should do a thorough soul searching.
Do you think Prime Minister Oli acted in haste when it comes to the map controversy? Could he have waited and had the conversation with India before going to Parliament and changing the map permanently?
We should have had a dialogue, bilateral talks at the highest political level before reaching to any such conclusions. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But still, my understanding is Nepal and India should talk at the highest political level and resolve this issue. Any problem in the world can be resolved, like the boundary issue with Bangladesh and India was resolved. So there is no question why this cannot be solved between India and Nepal.
Baburamji, the fact that there was a time when a lot of people in Nepal would always complain or raise issues about India's interference. But now we're looking at the reverse. We're looking at a lot of people questioning Chinese interference. Do you think there is an interference from outside when it comes to how politics is being played out in Kathmandu?
My understanding is the internal question is primary in any crisis within a country. The external factor plays a supplementary role. So in a relation between big and small, strong and weak countries, naturally the problems are bound to occur. So that's why between Nepal and India, Nepal and China, problems are there. So I wouldn't like to blame anybody. But learning from past history, we should resolve this issue, and especially Nepal and India having historical relations and closer economic relations, they should resolve their problem faster. In the later days, of course, there has been growing influence of China also, because China is a growing global power. Naturally, it would also like to spread its influence. It's a natural tendency.
Yeah.
It is up to a country how to balance the relation with the neighbors and with big countries. But our relations with India are particularly more important because 2/3 of our economic interaction takes place with India, and the cultural, social affinity and flow of people is more with India. In that sense, we should pay more attention towards improving our relations with India.
A personal question, sir. Do you think you, being in politics or in the political scenario, would you think of maybe an absolutely new party with new vigor, new blood, and ensuring that there is a way forward in resolving the entire crisis in Nepal? Is that the only way forward? Because what's your reading on how the opposition in Nepal looks today?
I think so. Because most of the parties in third world countries were formed after the Second World War. Uh, some by the name of Congress, Indian National Congress and Nepali Congress, and some by the name of Communist Party, Communist Party of India, Communist Party of China, Communist Party of Nepal. These were the major trends. But now, in the advent of the 21st century, the situation has undergone many changes. So, to suit the demand of the time, I think we need to an alternative political ideology and political organization which will rise above both capitalism and communism.
And
So
which
that
would
is
be?
why we are trying to bring, develop a new party called the Janta Samajwadi Party, People's Socialist Party, which would be based on inclusive and participatory democracy, and economically will have a more socialistic type of economy where the market and the state will have a balanced role. So this
That's
I
what
think
your
my
party. That's
understanding, yeah.
that's the that's what this the ideology of the party would be.
Yeah, this is the
Or
idea
is-
of our party. Yeah.
Okay. And finally, before I let you go, there has been a lot of cooperation between India and Nepal on fighting the COVID pandemic. In terms of health cooperation, where do you see India and Nepal, and how important is India for Nepal and vice versa?
Yeah, I must appreciate the support, very generous help extended by India to control the COVID crisis. Since we have an open border and free flow of people, India had a very direct impact on Nepal in the spread of COVID, but and controlling of COVID. But now the vaccine in